All right, so I think we are live. Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. I'm just gonna give this a few minutes so YouTube can alert you guys, or for those who've been waiting, I am live. Wait. And I can see 2 people are here. And say hi in the chat, guys. Hi, MJ. Um, just waiting. I know it's been a while since we've done a live. There's been summer things, and then I got sick and all of that, but we're back. And it feels like forever. Hi, Usha. Hi, Jamie. Okay, I feel like a few people are here. Today I was like, let me just say hi and show my face because it's been a while. But we will be switching over to the camera where you can see my table, and we're going to begin in a few seconds. So let me just switch my camera. Hi, Trish. As you guys are rolling in. Where is it? Yep, I need the painting. There we go. Okay, so you guys are now seeing my painting, and I just want to make sure you guys can hear me properly. So I am going to disconnect the other camera over here on my phone so you guys can see my desk. Okay, so really quickly, I'm going to shut this down. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to turn my phone camera off, so let me know in the comments if you guys cannot hear me in the next few seconds, okay? So, here we go. Let's begin. So there's been a lot happening over the last few weeks while we've been off and away. To say a few things, we've been doing the second part of the flower color guide series, and this is what we had done. I feel like, did we miss something else? I feel like there was maybe one more flower. But these are the 3. There was a 4th for sure. I don't have that on me right now, but check out the YouTube channel to find the videos for these really pretty guys that we've done. And then this one is a special video for creative fans or creative Fabrica fans. It kind of works like Patreon, but it's just another platform, and I eventually would like to have all the blooms who are on Patreon right now move to Creative Fabrica, because I'm going to be doing a lot more in terms of offering on Creative Fabrica. So I don't expect you guys to be on both, just on the one. And so if you're interested in doing more with me, check out Creative Fabrica, and you can look me up and Clarice Gomes Watercolor. All right, and last but not least, this is what we did for last month's watercolor class. So for those, again, looking to loosen up some more and learn a lot more and practice with me and the rest of us who join in, check out the classes. They are also online. The replay for this is available. So this was August, and I just posted September's as well. We're continuing on in our loose florals, which we love. Okay, so I'm just looking at the screen to make sure that everyone can see what I am doing before I actually begin. And I'm just seeing my screen is like stuck on one thing here. Is it stuck? Can you guys hear me? On one thing here. Okay, that's so weird. So MJ, you guys can hear me, but it's stuck. That's weird. Okay, let me try this video thing again, and then we will begin because it was working before, and I guess now it is not. I'm gonna deactivate and reactivate. There we go. Can you guys see now? I'm sure you can. Perfect. I think you guys can see me now. So I'm just going to start all over again what I've been saying to you guys. So this is what we are doing for the Flower Color Guide series. The videos are on the YouTube channel, so go check it out. We've done 4. I can't find the 4th, but these are the 3 that we've done these past few weeks. This is the video I was talking about that's exclusive to Creative Fabrica fans, patrons, Bloom patrons, people who are interested in doing more with me. Check out Creative Fabrica fans, and you can find this amongst other items or videos that I'll be doing as extras. And then finally, last but not least, August watercolor class was on these loose florals. It is now online, and September class is also online and ready to be booked if you're interested. Okay, so let's get started for today. Today we are doing loose florals. It's been a long time. I can't wait. This is what I'll be using. I am using Stonehenge cold press. I believe this is 600 GSM. Super thick. I really like this paper just because it is super thick. And then for my watercolors, I'll be using the White Nights, which I absolutely love. I've got my water ready. I've got brushes. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you the brushes. It's been a while, but I definitely want to use my Q series number 4 Filbert. And then I'll be using the miniature 2/0. I have my number 6 handy Princeton. Then I've even got, I don't think I'm going to use the silver black velvet number 4, but I'm keeping it there anyways. I do have my mop as well because it's been a while since I've used my Da Vinci mop. So we're going to be doing that. All right, so everything that I am using here, guys, is listed in the description below, so feel free to check those out. Oh, last but not least, we also need paper towel. Okay, so I got my palette here, and we are ready to begin. I'm just looking at the comments really quickly in case anyone said anything. Hi, Julie. Hi from UK. Oh, speaking of the UK, Julie, I'm actually looking to do a class in London in October. So if anyone knows a great spot, Julie, that does collabs with artists or just a great spot to do a workshop, please let me know. Okay, fabulous. Working. Can you put the Creative something link? Yes, I will add the Creative Fabrica link shortly, but it's actually called, yeah, it's called Creative Fabrica Fans. If you just do a Google search and look up my name, and I'll add the link in the description once we are finished. Okay, so let's begin. So we're going to start off with doing our main florals. I always like to do our main florals and then do our fluffing. If you watched the reel that I put up on Instagram yesterday, it was with these guys right here, and it was just a video showing how you can do your main flowers and then you do your fluffing all around it. So that's always been my approach when I paint. So I do my main florals and then do the rest. So to start off, I'm going to be mixing some colors. I know my palette is super messy, but we're going to ignore that and just paint. So I want to do my first initial florals in like a nice yellowy hue. And so I'm going to be using a combination of the lemon, and I'm going to show that to you in a second. So give me 1 second here. So we're going to use the cadmium lemon, which is right there, and I'll be mixing it with a little bit of carmine. And so getting that on here, I know it's super, super bright, and I'm using my Filbert. So it's about like 30-70 ratio. I'm going to start off with doing my first floral around over here, and then I'm going to keep my mop brush handy because I would like to get some of the carmine right away with the mop brush and then go ahead and do the rest. So here we go. We're just going to start off by doing a nice big petal. We're keeping this super loose today. So here's my first stroke. I'm doing like one big petal and then the side strokes to kind of close up that petal, pushing all the color downward. I'm going to get a little bit of that lemon and just add it to the bottom here, just dabbing. And then taking my mop, I'm going to go get some of the carmine. And then I just want to add a couple of strokes of the carmine at the top and around the center here so we can get a nice blend with our petal. And then also a little bit on the insides here. I'm just getting just on the tip of my brush, adding some more of that, and then around, and then more to the center, and then dipping the tip of my brush in water. I'm just going to go ahead and make some kind of C strokes at the bottom, very loose, to kind of show that these are the bottom petals. And I'll get a little bit of that lemon happening in there as well, and just add some strokes with that, blending it in nicely with our carmine. And then I'm going to add my basic fluffing around it. So I want it to be nice and loose. So I'm adding some of the lemon over here as well so it ties in nicely. So I'm going to get a couple of strokes around very lightly over here, kind of loosen up our flower. Make it look like it's nice and fluffy. Adding some of the carmine. And then going back into the center with the carmine. And just kind of adding a couple of strokes just in the center. Now, it's not giving me like a nice dark color, and I think that is mainly because the mop brush holds a lot of water, right? So I think I'll switch to the number 4, and I'm just going to get the color directly on here from the color cake. And then I'm just going to add these strokes in here. And notice how I'm doing like these little tiny lines. So now you can actually see like there is a center to the flower. And then I'm just doing a couple of dots in the bottom area here where it kind of flows. I'm actually going to go back over here and dab more of that color so it gives me that nice blossom bloom happening. I'm just kind of lightly touching up some areas over here as well to kind of get some nice blends. And again, I'm just using the tip of my brush and lightly grazing. I don't want it to be too overpowering. I just want it to be light so it pops. And at this point, if you want to add a little bit of a muted tone, so kind of watered it down, you want to kind of add some at the bottom of these petals here to get that nice blend if you can. And this way you get that nice, like it stands out a little bit more. And I'm just taking this brush and blending this a tad bit so it doesn't dry off weird. Oops! My gosh, guys, I almost dropped my brush. That would have been brutal. I've done this a few times on live, but that would have just been brutal right now because I'm just really loving how this flower is turning out, and yeah, wouldn't have been nice. Okay, so we're gonna leave this flower as is. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one we're gonna do is going to be more of a darker floral, just because we've got a nice light floral. So let's do a nice dark one at the top, possibly, maybe around over here. And again, I'm gonna keep this. Let's use the mop, and I'm going to use, so we've got lemon and this, so we'll do like a nice deep purple. I'm going to mix in, let's see, I think I will use some of the Quin Lilac and a little bit of the violet, or maybe even, yeah, let's do Quin Lilac and violet. So getting some color, and I'll mix it over here. Actually, I'll do Quin Lilac and Carmine, not violet. And then we're going to do, let's do a flower that kind of looks like your regular 5-petal flowers, and then we can alternate how, actually let's do a rose first, and then we'll do 5-petal flowers as the framing florals around. So using this bright color that I've mixed, and it's about like, I'd say 40, 60, so like 60% color, 40% water. And we're gonna do the center first, after we lay down a couple of strokes of a light carmine, super light. So I'm just going to dampen the sheet first into the shape of the strokes, and then we're going to go from there. Make sure I'm not, so here we go. I'm going to do these, I'm going to do like rounded strokes, kind of framing the center, like a bud almost. So you can't quite see it right now because this is very light, or maybe you can see a hint. And then I'm going to go get a little bit more, and I'm extending the strokes. Around. Now I'm going in with my Quin, and I'm adding the color onto the area here where we have just laid down our light colors. And then I'm just going in and adding more strokes around over the colors that we've just sort of laid down, or the strokes. And then I'm going back in with the Filbert, getting that lighter color, and we're just going to add more at the top here. And what I'm doing is I'm extending this petal with the hopes that the color seeps in. And if it doesn't seep in naturally, help it. I'm leaving a lot of white space, so please note the white space as well, because that really does help with separating things and not having things look like it's one big blob. This time I'm going to go and get some more of that Quin Lilac, and I'm going to intensify the center here so that it stands out some more and gives it more shape. And then I'm lightly lightly adding strokes, like just with a flick of the wrist sort of thing, to kind of give this more definition at the top as well. And now I'm going to get a little bit of that violet, mix it in, and then add dabs of that. Especially over here where these petals meet the bottom, so that you can see the blend, and you can also see where it kind of separates the two. And I'm just dipping the tip of my brush in water, and I'm going to lightly add these loosey strokes around here. Now this one's a little bit too dark, so I'm going to take my paper towel and just lightly dab it. Okay, I didn't lightly dab it, I pressed down on it. And I want this to be very, very light as I like lightly go around and just add loose strokes. Just intensifying the center here, getting that nice shadow effect. And then I'm just kind of doing a little bit of fluffing for these guys here. And then at this point, if you just want to lightly add some of the darker hue, like get some of the Quin lilac or something, and just lightly add it to the areas where the petals are going under. And I'm just having it blend in some more. So just water on my brush and lightly kind of helping it along. Right, so we're going to leave that as is, and we're going to move on to doing one more floral facing downward. And for this one, let's use the, we've got a nice yellow, we've got a nice deep purple. I would say let's use the violet. Should we do more violet? No, let's do some of the carmine, because I'm always partial to the pinks. So I'm mixing it onto this area here just so I can get a nice sort of similar variation. And I'm going to mix this with a little bit of the golden. I want like a kind of like this mixed hue, but just on a darker level. And then again, we're just gonna use the same Filbert brush to get a nice loose floral down below here. And this one I'm gonna make slightly kind of protruding, facing upward over here this way. So maybe it's coming out from this side of the sheet. So here we go. I'll do the reverse of what I did up there this time. And let's use the mop brush. So I'm going to lay down the center first, and then we're going to go in and extend from the center. Sorry, I need to mix a little bit more color here. So I get a nice dark pinky hue that I'm looking for. Okay, so here we go. That one's up, this one's here. Okay, so here. So I'm just doing that, and then going down this way. You get some of that carmine directly from the color cake. Really add it like that. And then going in with my mop, we're going to go ahead and extend and add more petals kind of like around this area on a lighter scale. And I'm lightly touching these guys here because I want it to sort of flow into these petals that I've done. And I'm leaving, again, lots of white space because I would like for the white space to really speak for each individual petal or whatever can. And then let's do some background petals here. So I'm lightly adding little C strokes, but on a thicker scale, and helping the color along. Pushing it downward again. And then if you feel it's doing something like that and doesn't quite look right, just take your paper towel and dab. Oh, there we go. And then I'm just going to get like lighter strokes to indicate background petals. Going back in with the darker hue. And I want to add some strokes in here. And just load this color. So this happened. Just taking water on my brush and I'm lightly going to brush it off. And then I want to intensify the color in the center some more, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And what did I say? Carmine. And once it dries up even more and you go with the strokes over, which is like layering really, you'll get a nicer effect. So we're definitely going to do that once it has a moment to dry, just a tad bit more. And now we can sort of move on to doing some of the leaves. And for that, I'm going to use I know I didn't mention it before, but I'll use the Silver Black Velvet number 8. And for the leaves, we're going to use chromium oxide. And I'm going to mix a little bit of the indigo in with it, just to get a nice dark green, like a bluish green. 70-30 again in terms of color to water ratio. And we'll start off by doing some whimsical looking leaves protruding from, let's do the top first over here. So I'm going to turn this sideways. So I'm like doing my leaves from the out in because I want the darkest hue to happen towards the stem. So just like that. And then I'm going to do a couple more protruding from here for sure. Actually, I think I should keep this area, a little bit of this area for the filler flowers. But we'll definitely do some leaves as well. Especially in between the flowers, when you add leaves or greenery, it kind of breaks up everything really nicely, as you can see, and then adds more structural value to your compositions. So I'm going to keep it in this level of lightness or color hue for now. And then just as soon as I've done a good enough amount of leaves, we're going to go in and add some darker hues. So almost done. Let me do one more before it completely dries up, and then we can move on. Stems, sort of idea for stems. So here's another leaf. Slightly overlapping on our guy there. I have one kind of just flopping across. And then now let's go in and add some dark highlights. So I'm going to get green this time directly from the color cake. It's called green. And I'm just going to add it right below the stems and right where the leaves attach to the flower. Hopefully this one's probably dried up the most because we did this first. It's not bad, it's still giving me some nice blooms. Something like that, and let's add a little bit more. Oh, I see tons of comments happening. Sorry guys, let me just get most of this done, and then I promise I'll take a quick break and read comments or questions if anyone has any. All right, so we're moving on to doing a couple more of these leaves, and then we'll do our filler florals. Or maybe we should do filler florals first. So then we have the lay of the land and we know where things are. So that's what I'll do. I'll do the filler florals first. And so for that, we're going to use my mop brush. And we've got some nice bright colors. I think it would be nice to use a light version of the golden. And I think this is all I will use. I won't use any more because if I use more, I think it'll be too bright. So I'm trying to keep the colors similar so that we're not going too over the top here. So I'll do some of these simplistic and easy filler florals happening. Let's give this some shape now and some nice movement. So we'll have some kind of falling outward here. So we're just doing tiny little strokes like this to kind of form like a loose flower. Like that, right? And actually what you can also do is just to get a nice blend, dip in, get some of the other colors you've used and add a stroke in your flower and get that nice bloom. So we've got one, I'm going to do a couple here. Notice, like, see how loose my strokes are? And I'm pushing all the color to the center. Doing a little bit of fluffing as well as we go along. So we've got one, the darkest one there. Let's do another one kind of coming out from this guy here. Okay, and now just adding more fluff. Let's take the miniature and I'm gonna get the, what color is this? Olive green. And we're going to attach. So the olive green is like a nice yellowish, young looking green. And we're just gonna add these light, thin strokes. And as we're doing these thin strokes, like go ahead and do more thin strokes. And if you've got some of the flowers that are damp, extend it out, like touch the petal, extend it outward. Allow the, well, it's not doing it here for me, but the green is going into the orange for this. I'm gonna wash off some of the green and try and do kind of like leaves coming out from there on a very, very light scale. I wanted to get a nice blend of the orange into that, but it didn't quite happen. So we're just adding light leaves, loose leaves over here. And I want to keep these, again, like I was saying, light, easy, simple, airy as well. So we're not going to do too many attachments or too many big leaves, but we're doing smaller, more whimsical ones, like as you can see here. I'm even going to mix in a little bit of that additional, like, what was it, the other green that I have, and I'm just highlighting areas where it is damp, especially where it is attaching to the flower or the stem, giving it some shadow. Some detail, loose detail without adding too much. Oh, this one is nice and damp, so I'm getting a nice blend with the flower over there. Is this blurry a little bit? Maybe not. Okay, so moving on. We've got some nice light detail here. I think it would be nice to have just a little bit at the top here. So I'm getting some more of the orangey hue that we have, or maybe even do the leftover of this color over here. And you're just doing it on a lighter scale. And then same thing with the green. Yeah, I love how this is turning out because it's so loose and light and just airy. Less detail, not a lot of stuff happening. And then I'm taking that second green that I had mentioned that I used over here, and I'm kind of adding some strokes in here while it is damp so that we get a nice blend. And I think we should definitely be doing a splatter at some point here. Okay, so now I like how I did that, like these little blobs over here at the top. I want to do some over here in this area as well. And again, this is going to be like 80-20, sort of 80% water, 20% color sort of dabs. Just adding more additional green hues to our outer bits. So I guess you could call this the fluffing stage at this point. There's too much water. And you're kind of peppering this around the brighter green that we've just added. And so we've got it looking nice and whimsical. But if you really look at this right now, we only got the popping happening in these guys and these guys over here. So how can we enhance this and make this even more? Here's how. This is exactly what I had shown on my reel in that I posted last night on Instagram, where I was talking about doing your main elements, then going in and adding your little bit of fluffing. But the tiny details really do help pull everything together. So this looks good now, but you can make it even better by adding layers of darker color in the items that you really want standing out. So for instance, these guys right here could use with a little bit more detail. And so let's do, and also adding darker greenery that really makes the lighter guys pop out as well, and filling up the gaps in between as well, because right now it's light and airy, and if you like it this way, great, but I would definitely suggest adding a little more detail to the centers and enhancing that before you move on. So what I'm doing is getting carmine, because I'm going to tackle that guy first, and then I'm going to get some, I believe this is burnt sienna. And then I want to add little strokes, random strokes, and then a couple of blobs here and there. To really enhance the center and make it pop. Just a tad bit more. And then I want to get some of the mixture that I used over here, which was carmine mixed with golden. And I'm going to enhance some of these petals just a little bit. Adding more detail to the center. And then I want to do a little bit of a splatter on this one here. And then I want to get some of that purple that we used at the top and add a little bit of a splatter at the top here. Or actually over here. Perfect. And now the last and final thing, which is the leaves that I mentioned. So getting a darker green. I'm using green here, and I'm also going to mix it with some of the burnt umber to give me a nice darker hue. And I want to go ahead and add a couple of strokes in between the main flowers and then just a little bit on the outside too. So notice how I am just sort of adding strokes like that, just pressing it down. Like overlapping some of the colors over here too, some of the elements. I'm gonna add one happening right here. And then overlapping, I want to do some overlapping over here as well. But I'm kind of scared to go over this leaf, so I think I'm going to go behind it. And do something like that. So you can see how these like dark blobs really make things pop like on a different level. And that's exactly what I was talking about when I was saying you need this to sort of shape your compositions. Now, how do you sort of get used to something like this? By practicing, by doing it often, trying things, but keeping these key principles in mind so that you don't, so that you know the technique, and then the more you practice, the easier it becomes for you to sort of execute. And so this is what the classes I do on the monthly basis offers you. It offers you the ability to paint with me and get the key points and also practice, because then you have the video to watch whenever, very much so like our live videos over here. So if you're missing the live right now, you can watch it later on. It will always be there on my channel. But if you want to take this a step further and enhance, then you join the group and you're able to get more practice with me constantly telling you what to do and how to do it. All right, so I'm just adding some in between as well, just a little bit. So you can see those. And it always helps to sort of have a nice bird's eye view of things. So I always stand up and you can hear my chair creaking. I'm going to add doing the same blobby thing that I did down here on the main flower at the top. And then do some over here, and I would like to make this a little more intense at the bottom, so you can see where the stems are. And then you see all the thin lines and how they kind of flop outward, and then you got the little tiny details. This is what adds movement to your paintings, when you add these little lines that are giving things some direction, or your leaves some direction. And we're almost done, I promise. And then I will read your comments or read your questions, and I will be able to answer shortly. So hang in there, guys. Just a few more. Oh, one last thing I absolutely must do is add some centers to our tiny flowers. Otherwise you can't quite see them as much right now. So what I'm going to do is use the I'm going to use the burnt sienna, no, sorry, burnt umber, and using my tiny brush, my miniature brush, I am going to go ahead and add a couple of little dots around some of them so that it stands out. And then same thing over here. And I don't know what I was doing there. Just do some here. And I think that's it. I mean, there's lots more that I could still possibly do to it, but I will leave this just like this, and let's take some questions and stuff for anyone who had any. Okay, so watching. So I'm reading comments. Would it be worth contacting Jackson Art Store in London or Class Art Stores if they have space? The Glasgow Class Art Store has a huge workshop room in the back for artists. Oh, that's an idea. I could definitely look that up and check it out. Okay. Hi, Laura. Thanks, Julie. Patty, no worries. Oh, we had some rain. Sorry to hear you guys are still having so much heat. Thanks, Patty. Hi, Andy. Oh, Kathy, like 13-hour drive. I hope you're enjoying this. Patty, I am using 600 GSM Legion. And that looks like this. It's the green, the dark green cover. Okay, so that's it. Thanks, Ver Williams. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Marcella. Okay, guys. So I think that is it for today. If you guys enjoyed this, please, please, please hit the like button. And if you have ended up painting this, please send me what you've done or tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Also follow me on Instagram and make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys for another live in 2 weeks. In the meantime, make sure, if you've missed the 1 week challenge, make sure you go on the Instagram and watch the collab I did with Pavna. We've had 5 videos and this was the finale. So go check it out. All right, thanks guys for watching and chat soon. Bye.